Hello, my name is Anne Lendrum and I am a Community Development Officer for Ards and North Down Borough Council. In this video, I will talk through how to complete the Community Development Grant Application form. Before I go through the form, it is worth noting a few important points for completing and submitting the grant application. The Community Development Fund is solely for running costs. The application is scored, therefore please ensure all sections are completed with as much detail as possible. As the panel contains officers from outside the community development team, they can only go on the information that is provided within your application, and the community development officers cannot explain what your group or organisation is to them. Therefore, it is important that your application contains as much information as possible. Late, incomplete or altered applications cannot be accepted, and all supporting documents must be included when submitting the application. There are 4 sections to the application plus the government funding database section. Every applicant must complete all sections plus the government funding database section. Beginning with section 1. This first section is about eligibility. Questions 1 to 6 require you to input relevant details about the group. These questions gather general information, include detail on aims and objectives, how many people the group support, which costs are being applied for, and the details on the hall, base or hired venue. Please note question 4 must be answered with details of the group's permanent hall, base or hired venue used for meetings. Details of opening hours and footfall must be completed. Footfall can be obtained, for example, from sign-in sheets for the group. Section 2. There are 4 questions in this section. Please complete each question with as much detail as possible. I will go over each question briefly with what should be included. Question 7 is looking for the detail about the running costs of your group. In this section, you need to outline what costs the groups are applying for. For example, this may be things like rent, insurance, heating or stationery. You should also include detail on why these things are essential costs for your group. There are some exclusions which are detailed in the guidance notes for the grant. When detailing the catchment area for your group in question 8, it is important to include the postcode areas reached. This is a 20% weighted question for areas of deprivation. If postcodes are not included, this element cannot be applied. Moving on to question 9. This question is asking for detail on the benefits that the group provides to the wider community. For example, what programs are offered, who can attend and how far-reaching the programs are, as well as what outcomes the group hopes to achieve throughout the year. The final question in this section is about sustainability and looks at how your group will continue to run independently in the future. In this include any entry costs for the participants, if there is fundraising planned or any other funding the group has secured from other bodies. Section 3. Questions 11 to 13 are looking for detail on how the group will aim to tackle social exclusion, how it hopes to promote health and well-being, and lastly, how the group promotes equality in relation to Section 75 legislation. Try and include as much detail as possible in each of these questions to ensure that each question can be scored. Section 4. In this section for questions 14 to 16, input as much detail as possible on the expected individual costs, including funding from other sources and the amount the group is applying for from the Council. When answering question 15, include any contribution that the group itself is making towards the expenditure. Both financial and in-kind contributions should be noted. In the final question of this section, explain in detail how you will be using the funds and show how value for money will be achieved. The final compulsory section on the application is the government funding database. In this section, if your group is registered and the details are on the government funding database, please include the unique reference number. If your group is not yet registered, please note that if you are successful in your application for funding, the group will be required to register on the government funding database in order to receive any monies. There are several essential documents which must be submitted with your application form. Without these documents, your application cannot be scored. These must be the most recent and up-to-date. Additional documents may be required depending on your particular group. For example, if your group works with children, please include the Child Protection Policy. The final part is to input your name, position in the company, and sign and date the application. A digital signature is acceptable. When your form is complete and ready to be sent, please save your form as a PDF, as this will ensure that the application cannot be altered if emailed. The application can be emailed to communitygrants@ardsandnorthdown.gov.uk or posted to the Community Development Manager, Ards and North Down Borough Council, 16 South Street, Unit 5 Conway Building, Newton Ards, BT 23 4JT.